bringing up really all the values and the morals and ethics that we should be sharing to our children especially is so important. So I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Mike.
I did announce about 3 weeks ago that I am going to be running for state treasurer, and I wanted to go over the reasons I'm running for state treasurer, but I also wanted to go over kind of the story, how I got here. So there's a couple things that I think are just glaring things I could focus on at the state level, especially in the treasurer's office, that would make a big difference for Ohio residents. And the first thing that I noticed right away was the unclaimed funds account. There's $2 billion in the state of Ohio unclaimed funds account. And if you go onto that website, they have all your information. They have the information of the money that is in your name that you could claim. And we had a very similar situation in Lake County when I took office about 4 or 5 years ago. We had an account which was an overpayment account, and there was $5.3 million in it. And when I found out about it right before I took office, I said I'm going to research this money and I'm going to return the money. And that's what we did. We actually took 3 years to research all the way back from 2020 to 1983. And after we were done, we returned money to over 17,000 Lake County residents. Some of the refunds were $1. The highest one was $42,000, but I took it very seriously. I actually, not only with credits, but when we found out that it was a senior, we'd call them, I'd drive out to the house. We had this big check, it was about the size of that billboard right there, and we put their name on it. We go out and bring balloons, make a big deal of it, and some of it was so important because after returning money after 20 years or 25 years where it was outstanding, and to hear the story, and a lot of the people really needed the money, and it meant so much when you'd go to a senior who recently lost their spouse, and they really needed the money. There was one instance where this lady just put in windows in her house in Menor, and I returned a check for, I think it was $8,000, and she said, "This will pay for all my windows." So it was a really good experience. It was so desperately needed, and why the government would hold on to the residents' money, I do not know. But the one thing I do want to focus on right away is unclaimed funds. I want to research it. There's got to be something that we can put on the back of the check that's approved legally, where the recipient signs it and they get their money right away, and they don't have to go through all the red tape. So that is the first thing that I want to focus on is unclaimed funds. The second thing when I took office in Lake County was the investment portfolio. Now in Lake County, there's about $500 million in our investment portfolio. The year that I took office, $1.3 million was the investment return. Most of the money was put into a one-day overnight investment. And as most people know, if you invest money for one day, you're going to get a low return. You're not going to get a huge return. So my background is I have a MBA from Lake Erie College. I have a PhD. I actually teach at a couple local colleges. I teach finance, so I teach investment. So I teach stocks, bonds, foreign currency. So I actually teach investment. And what we've done over the last 4 years is we've invested the portfolio in agencies, corporate bonds, treasuries. We have CDs. We had a lot of the banks come in and bid for investment from Lake County. Does anyone have a savings account? All right. Does anyone get over 4% on their savings account? Anybody get over 5% on their savings account? So we had banks come in 2 years ago and bid for investment from Lake County, and we currently in Lake County have a savings account that pays 5.34%. That's because we went out to the banks and we said, hey, we're going to give investment to whoever will give us the greatest return. Our return last year was $19 million from $1.3 million 5 years ago. And what that means is when the commissioners have projects to work on, they have a lot more investment return without raising taxes to get that job done, because the investment portfolio is vested to the maximum return. So it makes a huge difference. And if you look at the state's portfolio of $30 billion, and you could take the same approach on maximizing investment, how much more could get done without taxes being raised? A lot more. So that is one thing that I really think we need to focus on. The other thing that I noticed in government is technology. So when I came into the treasurer's office about 4 or 5 years ago, there was very little technology used. The tax bills, we have 114,000 parcels in Lake County, and they were all mailed out. We printed out the tax bills, and they were put in the mail. And the first year I came into office, we had so many problems. There was lost mail. We were getting mail from 2 years ago that was being delivered with with a check inside of it, and it was a serious problem because we had a lot of people that thought their taxes were paid, but we never got the check. So I went to the post office, and the post office basically said it's not them. So we had to find a solution, and the solution was technology. And technology not only saved a lot of money in the treasurer's office, but it made us so much more efficient. So here's some. I'm a numbers guy, so this is my favorite number. So the day I took office, we looked to see how many emails we had of these 114,000 parcels, 114,000 people who own property in Lake County. We had 43 emails. That's what we had. Today we have 19,000 emails. So what that means is a lot of people are getting their tax bill emailed to them instead of mailed to them, and that has eliminated so many problems and saved so much money, because an email tax bill is about $3 less than a tax bill that's mailed out. So if you multiply 19,000 by $3, you see there's a huge savings already right there. It eliminated a lot of people, a lot of lost mail, so it made us a lot more efficient. And recently, and I really have to give credit to Sherry Valkenberg, we, after our first half tax collection, since we've been collecting emails and collecting phone numbers over the last 4 to 5 years, we printed out everyone who was delinquent for the first time. So if you normally paid on time, but for some reason we didn't get your taxes the first half of 2025, we called you or emailed you. And that brought in about 2/3 of the people that were delinquent just by communication, just by using technology, by using the phone, by using emails. We were able to collect so much more, because sometimes people thought they made their payment, or they're on vacation, or that something happened. And just communication has made such a huge difference by using technology, and that's what I want to take to the state. Is I actually want to go to the 88 counties and have them go from just mailing a tax bill to using emails, to using phones, to collecting data, to helping research so they have a lower delinquency, and the taxpayers are more informed. And the latest thing that we came out with is text to pay, which I think is even going to be a greater resource for communication, because we could text out a tax bill, and the homeowner can click on the link, pay their taxes, get confirmation within a minute or two, and they're completely done. The taxes are paid. And that is such a huge difference than mailing out a bill and hoping that it comes back. So technology is really the way to save a lot of money and become much more efficient. So these are the kind of the main things that I want to take to the state, and I think they'll make a huge difference in the state treasurer's office. There are some things that happened when I became treasurer about 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of doors opened, and part of the reason for running for state treasurer is I really believe God will open doors when I get down to Columbus, and I'll be able to serve the public better. One of the biggest things that happened is when I came into office, I wanted to teach financial literacy to students and to seniors, and all these doors started opening. Schools started inviting
Did
us
you
in.
have Congress on the list?
No, but I should add them. I should add Congress. But we started. I went with Auditor Chris Galloway to a lot of the schools. We were teaching financial literacy, which is so important. We went to all the senior centers. We went to libraries. We've been doing this year after year. Started going into the local prisons and teaching financial literacy, identity theft, budgeting, because I believe if somebody is re-entering society from prison, they need to be prepared to be successful. And part of what they need is they need to clean up their credit, they need to understand finances, they need to stay out of debt. So they need to know how to budget. And if they don't know how to do that, even with a job, they're going to have a real hard time being successful. And if we want to turn around Ohio and we want to be one of the leaders in the nation, we need everybody to go from being dependent on the government to actually contributing. And a lot of it is people coming out of prison. We need to help them be successful because they could go from being dependent to actually contributing back and reconnecting with their families and getting jobs. And that is so important that we try to help those individuals be successful in society. And I also believe that's Vivek Ramaswamy's vision too, is he wants to make Ohio an economic powerhouse. And part of it is everybody and anybody that you can help become successful, you need to do. That's how that's going to happen. If we're going to be a leader in the nation as a state, we need to find everyone and make them more successful. Some of the other doors that opened when I became treasurer was serving underprivileged children. So one of the things I started about 4 or 5 years ago was a free kids lunch program. And first we started just distributing lunches. And I have a couple of pictures of that, which I'm gonna pass around. So we started distributing lunches, and I'll pass this around to children, and it really expanded because I have 4 children, and if a child is to be successful, they got to be prepared in school. They got to have the tools they need, because if they could be successful in school, they could be successful in life. If they're going to fail in school, they're going to have a really hard time being successful in life. So what we did is we took the free kids lunch program. Here's pizza day. So we had the kids come in and we had pizza. But what we did is we partnered with Coats for Kids. And we have, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've handed out thousands and thousands of winter coats. Children need to be prepared for the winter, and we handed out thousands and thousands of backpacks and school supplies. Because for a child to be successful, they have to have the tools they need in school so they could succeed, in life. So that was one of the programs that I was really thrilled to get started in Lake County. And I think at the state level, there's just so many more doors that will open where I can help serve Ohio residents. But my favorite, I'm going to talk about one more door that opened, is the birthday club. So I've been very active in the special needs community. And one of the things we started 4 or 5 years ago was a program called the Lake County Special Needs Birthday Club. And the whole concept behind it was they are so important. Special needs children are so loving and kind. They have such a huge heart to offer free birthday parties for special needs children. So far, year to date, since inception, we've had about 175 free birthday parties for Lake County special needs children, which has been extremely fulfilling. We've had the biggest one we had was a parade in Willowick. I think it had about 75 or 80 cars in it. It was probably the size of their city parade. It was huge. We've had fire trucks, we've had superheroes, we've had a lot of different events that were so meaningful to the children, because we try to make it just the best birthday party ever. A recent one that we had, this was last weekend. We went to Deepwood, so we go to Deepwood for Easter, Christmas, and a few other occasions. We took the Easter Bunny and we went with the residents there, and we just threw them a big Easter party. So this is just a picture of that, and it's so meaningful, especially giving back, and they're so kind. is just one of the doors that open that I'm just really grateful for. And you know, part of the reason I'm running for state is I truly believe God will open more doors, and I can serve the public at the state level. So that is one of the main reasons that I'm running. But with that said.